Hi, I'm Maddie Clark. This is my Seeds of Hope project. I wanted to do my project on a school garden, which I thought would be a really beneficial way to get students to create healthier eating habits from a younger age so that they can maintain it throughout life. So I would plan for my project to work through our Future Farmers of America Club and our agricultural science classes. And whichever volunteers throughout the school that actually like to come and help work on the garden could help get students their community service hours, etc. We would have a faculty advisor that would watch over it, preferably our agricultural science teacher, who is also the FFA club advisor, who is actually who I interviewed for this project. His name is Mr. Mahitka at Squim High School. He said they're currently working right now, which I found out, to build a garden of their own, which they plan on taking the lettuce that they've grown there to our cooking classes at the high school for them to use, which is perfectly fine. But a few of the issues that they would have to run through if they went through with my idea, which would be to get to go into the school cafeterias for lunches, would be the right necessary permits that they have to have for it, the washing stations that they have to have, considering that lettuce or any other sort of vegetable that we would be thinking of doing a salad bar with would be raw. So you'd have to worry about animal feces, students touching it without washing their hands, stuff like that. And so a cooking room sort of environment would be a lot easier for them to bring food into because kids are being taught the necessary ways of washing food. So like I said, Mr. Hitka was talking about how right now they are doing projects of their own to try and get started with donating to the cooking class at the high school. And so I asked if he'd want to be doing anything bigger, any more, I guess, variety of vegetables to serve in their cooking classes. And he was saying that another thing with that would be getting administrative approval and board approval, where if I was trying to take it to the cafeteria and have the vegetables that were produced by the school be served at the cafeteria lunches, then you'd also have to go through the contracts that are already set up in place for lunches and with the school district. Some ways that I could see around this myself is at our school anyways, there are our snack shack sort of thing to where students can go and buy small things that aren't in contracts with the school, the foods that aren't in contracts. And so you could have a sort of salad bar that kids can go to and get food, which wouldn't affect the contracts that are already set up with big names like Pepsi and Coca-Cola, etc. Those sort of things. Some ideas for where we would put our gardens in is there's already a greenhouse at our school to where they grow flowers that they sell for the FFA, and the lettuce that they're actually starting to grow for the cooking class is in these wooden barrels that they grow outside. And they also have hanging baskets inside the greenhouse that they grow some of their vegetables in. And so I would add on to that to where I drew a picture, if you can see. They have the greenhouse here, which is over by Squim Avenue Road, or Squim Avenue. And I would add in a fan to help circulate, and so then you could close the doors and make it warmer in there throughout the winter. And so they could not just seasonally grow food, but continually throughout the year. And so it could help with kids' classes. And so you can turn it into a learning curriculum to where the school would actually help pay for the garden. And so there's less expenses. Right now, there is gravel over here by the road with trees that are planted. There's 3 trees over there, I believe. But instead, you could easily take out all the rocks and uproot the trees and plant them somewhere else, preferably our soccer fields that are kind of starting to die anyways and that people don't use. And we could also use that for an area to plant, but the main idea would be trying to keep it close to the FFA sort of area and the agricultural science classes. And so that's where the class is taught in this portable here, which is right down the path. And so you could have the walk-up would all be rows of vegetables that could be labeled by kids and planted by kids. So the best thing about this project idea is that if it works with the school curriculum, then the kids will learn how to plant and grow, and not just about the plants themselves, but also learning about if they want to sell stuff, vegetables, like they do with the FFA right now with cattle that they have, or pigs. They actually sell that meat in the fair to other people. When I went to go interview Mr. Mahitka, he was actually talking to a lady who was thinking about buying a pig from one of his students. Yeah. A few of the issues that I would see throughout it, and I also talked to Mr. Mahitka about, were costs of startup, where you'd have to get the soil. Heritage seeds tend to cost more, but are better in the long run because they produce seeds that can be replanted, and so you have less of a cost of buying seed later on. And also building supplies like wood to work on these beds of vegetables that would have to like separate them and stuff like that. Inside the greenhouse already, by the way, they have, I kind of drew a picture of what it looks like in there. There's some hanging baskets above that have flowers in it right now that could be reused into, say, peas, which tend to hang, or if you don't already have like a trellis for them to grow up, they'll hang over. So you could put peas up here. And then in the middle row, it's a hanging flatbed. You could put carrots in because they have more sandy soil. And so all the excess water from the carrots could be drained down into, say, leafy greens, which tend to absorb more water than carrots do. And so that way it's more water efficient and doesn't waste as much. Some of the, I guess, benefits, like I said, kids are learning, and so you're dealing with a lot of botany that they get to actually learn about, which kids tend to learn way better if they're able to touch and feel, and rather than just seeing pictures in a textbook or reading words in a textbook. It would also help reduce the cost of some lunches because the food that's grown is help paid through in the curriculum. Then they can lower the amount of food that they're actually buying in their contracts from big companies. It helps promote better eating habits later on in life, and overall it's just a great way to get kids involved in the school and what they're eating and see what it's like to grow their own garden, and hopefully they'll be able to start that when they're older. Thanks for watching.